All right, it's recording.
Excellent. Mr. Chair, I'm going to have to exit the conversation because of the timing of this advisory board meeting. I was double booked, so I have to make a presentation on another Zoom call in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to leave Heather Langford in your hands, or you all in her hands. I'm sure she'll be able to walk you through the staff update. And if there are any follow-up questions that the board has for any of those items, I'll be happy to get back with folks on what's happening.
Thank you so much, Sean. Hello, Heather.
Hi.
Okay, are we ready to begin?
I think we are.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think we have quorum, Mr. Chair. It is 2:31.
Great, nice to see you all again. Well, I can see you. I'm a little at work now, so I have to call in doing the phone. But let's call this meeting to order. And first, we're going to review the agenda. Does anyone have any adjustments to make? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as is?
And Mr. Chair, it will just be all by since we are operating in a virtual environment in the workshop mode, we are not making motions. So it's just a reminder.
Oh, yep, that is right. Thank you so much, Sean. Okay, well then, Heather, I'll let you have the floor.
All right, let me just share my screen here. And Sean, as long as you're with us, do you want to go ahead and get it going?
Sir, I'm happy to. All right, so for today's staff update, we have two updates for you. The Airport Gateway project, which is taking a new interesting turn, as well as an update on Sports Event Center, which recently passed its 30% milestone in design documents. So first and foremost, the Airport Gateway project. Again, this project is to conduct an industrial and commercial property analysis of the area just to the north of 39th Avenue. It's basically surrounds the airport, regional airport, the airport, Gainesville Regional Airport, just to the north of 39th. We're defined the project boundaries roughly, and we were going to go out to an RFP for services to help us do a market analysis again of the real estate potential to further enhance the industrial and commercial properties of that area. Again, think airport logistics as well as other light industrial applications in the zone. It did not reach down into the CRA district, which had a much more retail, commercial, and residential aspirations. So think of it in terms of bookends of developing where we had a larger opportunity to look at this sector. Just because of the industrial aspects of many of the properties that surround it, industrial and institutional aspects that surround the property here. The last conversation we had with the chair and the city commission representative, they expressed an interest in using the Urban Lands Institute as a firm to bring in expertise, outside expertise at a national level, to help us do a fast pass analysis and then a deeper dive analysis. The first pass would be providing ULI with some information on the surrounding areas that we previously discussed in the draft scope of work that was shared with EDAC, and they would come in for a 2-day blitz to do very brief stakeholder interviews, but developed an overarching vision for what could be accomplished based upon the mix of professionals that they brought in. From there, we would get a final report back from them with their summary direction. The chair and the city commission thought it might be worthwhile to also engage them on a further deeper dive, further exploring topics that are found with the 2-day analysis. So ULI also offers a 5-day analysis. It has a little more lead up time before those 5 days where their staff, their representatives come in and we provide them with more information. There's more time for talking with community stakeholders, for getting a sense of the economic potential of the area. And then they come back with a much more in-depth and more robust report. So kind of a 2-step process with ULI that we're still waiting to get a proposal back on. I don't have anything concrete to share with EDAC just yet, but as soon as I do, we'll bring it all to you so that we can get some feedback on it before we make a final decision with the Board of County Commissioners. And I'll pause if there are any questions about the Airport Gateway project.
Thank you, Sean. I do have one. What is the end goal with the area? Let's say that everything goes through. What are we looking at?
Well, phase 1 is the market analysis to tell us where's our best opportunity to further expand commercial and industrial lands. Once we have a sense of that, we hope to have is the ability to come up with a master plan. And the master plan will be directed on not only creating a next phase of industrial park development. We're just about built out in the areas that are surrounding the airport now for the land that's shovel ready in essence, but also having a conversation about the higher quality jobs that could come along with that. And as the name implies, it is a gateway. This is one of the front doors into the Gainesville community. So there are architectural aspirations as well. Some of the industrial lands, industrial parks, they're not necessarily the most welcome, but industrial architecture can be done in a way that is very design sensitive. And we would like to have that as part of the deliverables of anything that feeds into a phase 2, which would be a master plan effort. Phase 2, and then an eventual phase 3, which would be the construction of, moving into actual developing of the construction documents and building something somewhere. We don't know what yet because we don't have recommendations to work from. Our hope is to apply for an EDA grant, an Economic Development Administration grant that would support those efforts. Again, we have a lot of partners within this right now: the Airport Authority, the City of Gainesville, the Chamber of Commerce, and of course, Alachua County. Alachua County and the City of Gainesville have both put up $100,000 apiece to support at least phase 1 of this analysis.
And if I might add, Sean, this is Stacy Bertrand with the Greater Gainesville Chamber of Commerce. To answer your question also, the ultimate goal is to create higher paying jobs, more sustainable jobs, as well as more accessible jobs for our community. And in that area, there's a lot of opportunity for more development. There's land that's available. There are assets on that on the Waldo corridor that would make it a great place for more businesses to move to. And by doing that, the last time I checked, there was like roughly 23,000 cars that pass on that road daily. And eventually I think that traffic count will go up and also, eventually attract other amenities to that area. So I think, that's the ultimate goal, is to create more sustainable jobs for our workforce and for the future of our workforce as well.
Oh, that sounds actually pretty great. Does anyone else have any other questions? No? Okie dokie. I guess we'll move on to the next topic.
And Mr. Chair, I think this is where I probably will pass the baton to Heather. She's been deeply engaged with the next project on the list, which is the Sports Event Center. So I'll let her talk about where we're at with 30% plans and show you some images of where we're at, and wish you all well. I'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Sean.
you so much, Sean. We will see you later.
All right, so the Sports Event Center at Celebration Point, as Sean mentioned, we're the 30% drawings were just approved by the board. So moving forward, next phase will be the 60% drawings. And I think you all have seen much of this slide, but looking for this to increase visits from a larger region, increase hotel stays, sales tax revenue from restaurants and shopping, and employment and tourism support. And then this is leveraged against county investment. And that shows you a rendering of what it will look like. That's an overhead. And here's looking closer in. So let's see, which direction are we coming from? So this right here is going to be a cheer area, and that's the entrance to the cheer area. So that's going to be one of the main entrances into the building. This here, the second floor is going to be a weight room, the top floor administrative offices. And so this is another entrance into the building. And then the main entrance into the building and the grand hall is right over here. Between that and the apartment buildings that you see will be a promenade, similar to what you see right here, a pedestrian promenade. And then this is just a closer view. We're looking at having LED screens that will possibly have live streaming of the events going on within the Sports Event Center, but we'll definitely have messages of upcoming events. And then this is just looking at some of the finishes that they're talking about. It's going to be a brick and stucco mix with some metal finishes on it. And again, another picture of what the display screen might look like. And then they're looking at having imagery along here, kind of artistic imagery. This is just an example of what it might look like with accent lights to highlight that. And then here are some of the sections that you can see and some examples from other places of what could be the Sports Event Center, as well as renderings. And let's see, that's the last slide that I have. We're looking at sustainability elements for this, in addition to what the economic development opportunities are. So we're looking at things around energy efficiency, water efficiency. We're looking at air quality within the space, given this is a sports event center with a lot of activity going on. And I think the capacity is 6,100 people for the building. So we've got the design team looking at those elements and how those can be incorporated. And that's a very serious effort, and something that the board is very focused on are the sustainability elements. And Sean could go into a lot more detail, I'm sure, but that's what I have for now. So I'll stop there and see if you might have questions I can answer. And I'm also happy to go back to any of the drawings that I had up if you want to look at it, have a little bit more time to look at it. And from that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. No, I think everything looks great. I wanted to ask you, do we have anything on the impact to the area yet? I mean, how is the sports center going to how do I put it correctly? How does it work with what is already in the area now, is what I'm trying to get at.
In terms of other event centers, or in terms of the development at Celebration Point?
Both.
Both, okay. Well, I can give you one example. Sean will have a lot more of these, and I'm sure he's happy to follow up on that. One example is, so one of the events that is going to be in here are archery areas. And so there is already an archery center in Newberry where events take place. A lot of times people are staying on this end of town though, and getting to Newberry just for practice for those events takes extra time. And so that's one way that this can be utilized for what's already happening in the area. In terms of Celebration Point itself, we're looking at the areas continuing to develop with restaurants and shops and looking at how that can play into, so when people do come for sports events, they're staying at a nearby hotel, you know, between the events, they have some downtime, they can, you know, drive business into those shops and restaurants while they're waiting between events. And like I said, Sean can provide a lot more on the economic side of this. My main focus has been the sustainability side of it. But I'm happy to continue attempting to answer questions, and Sean's going to go back and review this recording. And so he'll be able to follow up, or definitely follow up with him via email if there's anything that he can answer.
May I add
Okay, well,
something? May I add
Yes,
something? Excuse me, this is Diane Bendekovic. I want to add something to that. You are so right as far as the impact on local restaurants and hospitality areas, because when I hosted the USTA tennis tournament for the Junior Orange Bowl in the city that I ran, we had to notify all the restaurants and the hotels in the surrounding areas because they had to put additional staff members on because of the impact and the overflow that we were getting. Plus, it might be wise for the county and the city to look into a shuttle service for participants, because it's just an added dimension that brings people back, because they saw the transportation was so easy to get in and out, especially when you have shuttle services from your hotels. And our city provided that for them, and they kept coming back year after year because of the ease with getting in and out of the facility. Just thought I'd add that to the conversation.
That's excellent.
actually,
There will be bus rapid transit that's going into the development. I apologize, Mr. Chair, I didn't mean to interrupt.
oh no, you were fine. Diane actually brought up a great point. Now, with with more people in the area, how are we going to work on their impact on the environment?
I don't have the answer to that. It's a great question. I mean, one of the things
You're fine. Thank you.
one of the things that's going on at Celebration Point is, as part of their agreement with the county, they have a very, very large acreage set aside that is going to be undisturbed land that's going back to its natural environment. So that's actually something that's going to have a very positive impact as part of this development.
Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. Are
Yeah,
there any other questions? Sorry, did I cut you off?
Oh, I was just going to say that other things that you can think about the amount of water that might be used in a facility like this. They're going to be using all low flow faucets, shower heads, toilets, in order to conserve as much water as possible, as well as looking at energy efficiency opportunities, and looking at the potential of solar panels, although that's still being discussed. There may be some issues with the roofing there. And then, as I mentioned, the bus rapid transit is going to be a great way to get people to be able to flow into the facility without using their own cars.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not expecting much of a traffic cause with this new area.
That is the hope. A lot of people will be coming in on buses. The teams will be coming in on buses. There's a drop-off area set up where they'll be able to easily get in and out without stopping the flow of traffic. And I think this idea of a shuttle service, I'm not certain that that's something that's been talked about or not, but I think that's a great idea that needs to be brought back to the team.
Yeah, what happens with your shuttle and with your athletes, the timing, because everybody's not there at the same time, and it's the in and out, and it's the ingress and egress that we saved a lot of cars being on the road at that time because the shuttle constantly ran. I think the head time on the shuttle was, I think we did it like every 15 minutes.
Okay, that actually does make a lot of sense there. Heather, do you have anything else on the project from your standpoint?
I think those are the highlights right now. Like Sean said, the next design phase is 60% documents. So we'll have a lot more detail then about the systems that are going into the buildings, as well as the sustainability efforts. And that'll be going back to the board for review.
Okay,
And-
and are there any other, oops, sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
no, I think there's a little bit of a lag on my end. The first event is scheduled for January of 2023. So we're working under a very, very rapid construction calendar, but that will be the first event is in January 2023.
Do we know who is coming?
I am not familiar, but it is something that's been booked.
I guess anyone is good. It's great to have someone set so early.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Now, do we have any other questions from the board? Any public comment? Okay, well, that being said, I guess we'll move into member comment. Who do we have today? Diane, Ellen, Jeff? How are you, Jeff?
Very well, thank you.
Do we have anything else from anyone? Any questions? No, I did have the pleasure of meeting with some of the county board members. The only one who I didn't meet was Commissioner Preza, but really they're excited and they're hoping that we can take more of a forward-looking role on building back from COVID. And I think this one arena is a great place to start. Diane, I know that there is currently the committee looking for our new economic manager. Do you have any news on that front yet?
Nobody has contacted me to be on the panel for the selection panel. No, I haven't heard a word from them.
I can provide a brief update on that. They're still working on the job description for that opportunity. So the timeline for hiring is still being determined.
I guess
Okay.
that's a good reason not to have heard from them. I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter and a happy Passover and enjoy your holiday.
Thank you, Diane. Are there any comments from the public? Stacy, maybe?
I just want to say that was a wonderful update. We're really excited about the Waldo Gateway project and Celebration Point and all the complementary things it's going to bring. I think both projects are going to make us stand out in the state. And like you mentioned, Marlon, you know, some of those conferences, you have to put in a submission for those years in advance. You know, they announce years ahead where the next conference and sporting event's going to take place. So I think this is going to really, you know, highlight the great assets that we have in Gainesville and the greater Gainesville region altogether. And I'm so proud of the work that the county is doing in general, and the collaborative effort that that your staff and that your committee is doing within the region. So thank you all for the work that you're doing. I think you guys are doing a great job and keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. And with that being said, I think this is actually our fastest meeting ever. That being said, I will wish everyone a great weekend, and hopefully, I know that before we do go, I'm so sorry. I know that we were talking about meeting in person soon. Very quickly, can I get everyone's feelings towards moving back to a formal personal setting?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'll go any direction the consensus is. I've had my shots. I've had both my shots, so I'm I'm free to go wherever, since I'm in that senior category.
Thank you, Diane. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm just a youngster, but I've also had both of my shots. By the way, Diane, I did think of you this weekend. I spent a lovely weekend in Fort Lauderdale, and while I was on the beach at somewhere, my wife will have to remind me. I don't know. I thought of you, and anyway, I'm like Diane. Whatever makes sense, I'll do.
And this is Ellen, and I'm good either way.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, that's good. I'll get with Sean, and hopefully next month we'll be able to get back to our regular meeting settings. And with that being said, thank you everyone so
Well,
much.
wait a minute. Where would a regular
Sorry?
meeting be? Where would we meet physically?
I can ask Sean on what he thinks. I believe the last place we met at was that City Hall building downtown, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the name of it is. It looks like a old house.
The last time I heard from Sean, he thought we would need to meet at the county administration building, but we can confirm.
That's what he
Okay.
mentioned at the last meeting too.
Gotcha. I think to answer your question, Jeff, then it would be the building there.
Got it.
Okay, but I'll get with Sean, and we'll make sure that everything is coordinated in a correct manner so that no one's lost. And with that being said, I will see everyone next month.
Okay.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.